my lord.
And we would also like to know the time of the registration of the.
The father of the victim.
Wait a minute, please don't
Please don't-
interfere.
yeah.
Don't interfere.
The
please.
first UD case was done by the police on its own.
So that is not an FIR. What is section 174 of the old CRPC today? Can anyone assist us, please?
Yes. What's
So that's just a report.
Yes, to start the investigation.
But then who lodged the FIR?
183.
First, the father of the deceased. Yes. Then
And
the
then
vice
vice
principal of the hospital. First, the father of the deceased and vice principal of the hospital.
No, there cannot be two FIRs.
No, but both complaints were sent to us.
No.
Both complaints sent to us.
Tell us whose complaint is treated as,
Father of the deceased.
this is registered at what time?
11:45 p.m.
11:45?
PM.
And now
Next day, next day.
Yes.
The
night. The night, madam.
The night.
In the night. In the night, madam.
thing.
In the
Now,
night.
when is the body, one second, when is the body handed over to the parents for cremation?
But let's kindly have this
Could you
note
tell
that
us,
I've given.
what
Just
time is
take
the
it.
body handed over to the parents for cremation? One second.
Around 3:30.
30:10.
No.
Therefore, one thing is very clear. The body is handed over to the parents for cremation at 8:30 p.m. The FIR is registered at 11:45 p.m. 3 hours and 15 minutes after the body is handed over to the parents for cremation.
Well, they refused to file. Well, this is the problem. We handed it over. They filed the FIR. They made the complaint at 11:45. They say, we are in shock. Please do whatever you want to do. They wanted a postmortem. We did the postmortem. All is videographed. Everything is videographed.
The autopsy and the postmortem take place.
Between 1:45 to 4 p.m.
Now, between 1:45 and 4 p.m., the autopsy takes place, followed by the
My lord,
postmortem.
the autopsy took place at 6 o'clock, not at.
Fair enough. That's all
6.
right. We'll take it as between 1 and 4 o'clock. It doesn't take place in 1 minute. It takes
That was
time.
when.
Videograph.
1 second. Don't keep on interrupting.
They wanted
So
a board. We
are
constituted a
proceeding-
board.
We are proceeding on the basis of Mr. Sibal's hypothesis that the autopsy and the postmortem take place between 1 and 4:45 in the afternoon. Now,
Lordship, there is-
notwithstanding this, clearly,
Lordship, there-
the autopsy would reveal that this is a case where a doctor has been murdered, where she has been murdered.
Yeah.
The FIR is registered at 11:45 in the night, Mr. Sibal.
Yeah,
And who was expected to
yeah.
Nobody in the hospital registers the FIR.
No,
The father registers the, what was the principal or the vice principal? What were the authorities of the hospital doing?
Look, they wanted a board. We constituted a board. They wanted a magistrate. We got the
You don't
magistrate.
need
They
that
realized
time
that
for
murder has
registration
been
of FIR.
committed.
You don't need a medical board for
They are-
registration of
Policy.
FIR.
At the moment, at the moment, Mellas, what are we considering? We are considering, Mellas, 2 or 3 things, as your lordship has put to me. How did these photographs reach the social media?
No, that's.
I'll mention all this. How did these photographs reach the media? We have nothing to do with it.
No, let
because
us
we
not
cordoned off
trivialize, my lord.
everything. People there took photographs, came in, took photographs and sent it. Number 2, Mellas. Number 2, immediately, Mellas, immediately an unnatural death case, Mellas, was started and an investigation was started. Your lordship may be right, Mellas, why did it happen? But whatever the parents were doing, we were agreeing with that. We set up a board. We asked the magistrate to come, a judicial magistrate to be present. Everything was videographed. Everything was called.
Mr. Sibal, it is the
Application
obligation
was made
of the
before the Siyata
authorities
court.
of the hospital.
Yeah.
The parents are not present in the hospital when the murder takes place.
Yes.
It's the obligation of the authorities of the hospital to register an FIR the moment they
2:45 it was done. 2:45 done. The letter was sent.
11:45 in the night.
No, 2:45 letter was sent. Assistant superintendent sent a letter at 2:45, Mellas. It's not 11:30, at 2:45 itself, we'll set out all this, Mellas. It's better we set it.
What we, Mr.
Lordships may give me 5 minutes, my lord,
Yes.
to further, my lord, to assist your lordships. My lord, first of all, my lord, let us not trivialize on this side, my lord, we are dealing with one incident, but your lordships are rightly looking at a larger picture. But we are dealing with, my lord, a young doctor, not only raped by a sexual pervert or perverts, but who was an animal-like instinct, who had an animal-like instinct, the way, my lord, the body was handled. Thereafter, my lord, I don't wish, my lord, to make this a political issue. I would request the state also not to be in a denial mode. 3 hours of the patient, parents waiting, my lord, is something we can experience if we put ourselves in that position. Now, my lord, so far as the safety is concerned, my lord, one thing I must bring to your lordship's notice. My lord, the doctors are genuinely, my lord, have a grievance. They are, my lord, they've lost one of their colleagues, my lord, globally. But, my lord, out of, my lord, all states, 23 states have legislations dealing with, my lord, what is called for, my lord, Kerala, my lord, so-and-so Medicare service persons and medical service institutions, Prevention of Violence and Damage or Loss to the Property Act. There are, my lord, I'll give, my lord, the list of acts. My lord, this also the National Task Force, my lord, can go.
The punishment which is provided under.
It's a cognizable, my lord, and
3 years.
3
2
years.
years.
yes, my lord. It's
Sing.
cognizable, non-bailable, and punishment is 3 years. My lord, this is first. I'll, my lord, place it. The National Task Force, my lord, which our lordships contemplate, can, my lord, go into this, can even make suggestions, and it should be welcome, my lord. My lord, second thing, my lord, which is worrying us is this. My lord, even in a well-organized function, if we want the presence of 500 people in an auditorium, we all know we have to make efforts. 7,000 people at the middle of the night armed with lathis and hockeys, my lord, can never be without the knowledge, if not consent, of the police force. It's complete failure of law and order, my lord, in the entire state.
What time did the vandalization of the hospital take place?
My lord,
Midnight.
it's at midnight, my lord.
I thought my
7,000
learned
people-
friend, he doesn't want to politicize the matter, my lord. Why is he saying all this?
Now,
Let's-
why this is, my lord, important.
We should be called upon. We'll tell you what happened.
Mr. Solicitor, what we'll do is that we'll.
One more aspect,
One.
one more aspect. Lord, and my lord, again, my learned friend may feel that this is, my lord, but this is directly related to the issue in question. Lord, the West Bengal has an in-charge DIG.
In
Lord,
charge?
in-charge DIG, Director General of Police, who is already being charged and being, my lord, considered by your lordships for having fabricated or otherwise dealt with the evidence in Sharda scam case. Lord, your lordship's
Calcutta
direction
police
is
doesn't come under
Mr.
DGP. Calcutta police doesn't come under DGP. Why are you saying all this?
What this has to do
Lord,
then?
is
Director
Kolkata
General
police.
of Police
This has nothing
is
to
an
do with
in-charge
What is all
DGP.
this?
Charge.
Lord, let someone else be the
This is
in-charge.
what is happening.
Let them choose, but not the man who is already
This is
accused
the
of
kind of
having.
misinformation we're having, my lord.
This is
And
This is nothing to do, this is a
nothing to do.
only a minute.
Malad, I have only one small request.
Another
What
minute.
do you propose to do about the principle?
Whatever your lordship says, we'll do, Malad.
That is the constitution.
Malad, whatever your lordship says, we will do. There's no issue. SIT is constituted.
State, you must.
SIT is constituted, but whatever your lordships will say, we will do. We are not, Malad, this is not adversarial, as I said. Malad, just give me just 1 minute. I just handed over something to your lordship. Just have a look at it, Malad.
Depends on
Just
the.
give it to my lord.
Can
3
I
copies
only
that I handed.
All right, Mr. Sibal, we'll just hear the solicitor for a minute. He just wants a minute.
All
And then
Lord, I just, my lord, I want this, my lord.
Your Lordship,
Lord,
may I
an
just submit?
in-charge
something?
DG who is already a tainted officer in an affidavit filed before this court should be replaced by any other in-charge DG of their choice.
Malad, just have this.
Another,
We have
my lord.
we have set out what is in the media and we have set out the reality.
No, share it with
For-
all of us.
We will share it, don't worry.
No.
Kolkata police informed the family members that the present case
No,
was
they
a
are
case
in
of
a
suicide.
denial.
False.
No, another aspect.
False.
Another aspect.
At
My
no
lord,
time did the
cast
police give this
judgment.
information.
Presently, what we propose to do is, we'll indicate what the broad parameters of our intervention in this matter consists of. We'll just pronounce it very shortly. For one thing, Mr. Sibal, we are very, very concerned. Let not the power of the state of West Bengal be unleashed on peaceful protesters.
I give to your, we
Lord,
have
why-
videos, we have
Without
videos of
protest,
all
it
that
is
happened.
unleashed.
People, whether they are doctors, civil society, lawyers, people who are protesting, so long as there's no act of destruction of.
We have videos. We agree.
let there not be the power of the state unleashed on
Agree.
peaceful protection.
Manoj, I agree,
Lordship,
and that has not
no,
happened.
no.
1 second. We have videos which we have placed, we will place before your lordship. And Manoj, what happens is political parties get into the act and this is what happens.
People who are taking to the media to communicate their views.
Yes.
Let us deal with them with a great deal of
I agree,
sympathy.
I
It's a time of national catharsis.
Look
because
at the girl, don't
across
be in
India-
denial.
Manoj, now, for example, they say pelvic and collarbone was broken. False. Postmortem doesn't say that.
not
Lordship,
going to right
state
now.
and the center, they'll keep arguing.
CBI,
Fair.
CBI is investigating it.
Yes.
We will ask for a report from the CBI. Now, what we propose
I just-
1 second.
Just one second.
This must stop. We are in charge of the proceeding. We have heard Mr. Solicitor, we have heard Mr. Sibal. If we start hearing all the interveners, there'll be no end to it.
Lordship,
Please have some patience. We are going to now tell you what we are proposing to do. We are not disposing of the case, but let's allow us to at least pronounce what we intend to do. All right.
No, this is the list of
okay.
acts.
Would your lordship just
This
On,
is a minute,
on 9 August 2024, a 31-year-old postgraduate doctor at R.G. Kar Medical College Hospital, Kolkata, who was in a 36-hour duty shift, was raped and murdered inside the seminar room of the hospital. As horrific details have emerged in the course of media reportage, the brutality of the sexual assault and the nature of the crime have shocked the conscience of the nation. The name and graphic images of the deceased have been widely circulated on social media without regard to her privacy or dignity. Writ petitions were instituted before the Calcutta High Court seeking, among other things, a court-monitored investigation of the crime and the conduct of the hospital authorities, including the role of the principal of the medical college and other officials by a special team of investigating officers. It has been alleged that the parents of the deceased were initially informed that their daughter had committed suicide. They were permitted to see the dead body after several hours, and a first information report in regard to the murder was registered belatedly by the police after several hours. By its order dated 13 August 2024, the High Court transferred the investigation to the Central Bureau of Investigation. Following the incident, agitations and protests were called by doctors' associations, student bodies, and civic groups across the country. On the eve of Independence Day, several areas in Kolkata saw protests spurred by the Reclaim the Knife campaign. At 12:30 a.m. on 15 August, when a protest was underway at the hospital, a large mob assembled at the premises of the R.G. Kar Medical College Hospital and vandalized the emergency ward and other departments of the hospital. Following the acts of wanton disruption and vandalism, the Indian Medical Association, a private and voluntary organization of doctors in India, called for a nationwide withdrawal of medical services except emergency services for 24 hours on 17 August 2024. In the aftermath of the brutal incident and the demonstrations which followed, the state government was expected to ensure the deployment of the state machinery to prevent a breach of law and order. It was all the more necessary to do so since investigation of the crime which took place in the precincts of the hospital was underway. We are unable to comprehend how the state was not prepared to deal with the incident of vandalization of the premises of the hospital. Nationwide protests following the brutal incident in R.G. Kar Medical College Hospital have brought the issue of the lack of institutional safety for doctors to the forefront. Medical associations have consistently raised issues of the lack of workplace safety in healthcare institutions. Medical professionals, in the performance of their duties, have been unfortunate targets of various forms of violence. Hospitals and medical care facilities are open throughout the day and night. Medical professionals, doctors, nurses, and paramedic staff work round the clock. Unrestricted access to every part of healthcare institutions has made healthcare professionals susceptible to violence. Patients of relatives in anguish are quick to attribute untoward results to the negligence of medical professionals. Such allegations are immediately followed by violence against medical professionals. In May 2024, 2 on-duty doctors were allegedly attacked by relatives of a patient who died during treatment in a hospital in West Bengal. In another incident in May 2024 in Bihar, following the death of a 25-year-old pregnant patient, a nurse was allegedly pushed off the first floor of the building by the kin of the patient. In August 2024, A final year resident in a hospital in Hyderabad was allegedly assaulted by a patient's attendants after the patient died due to medical conditions. These incidents of violence are a few among the many that have been unleashed against members of the medical community in the recent past. They are portents of a systemic failure to protect doctors, nurses, and paramedical staff in the confines of hospitals. With few or no protective systems to ensure their safety, medical professionals have become vulnerable to violence. With the involvement of systemic issues for healthcare across the nation, this court has had to intervene. Women are at particular risk of sexual and non-sexual violence in these settings. Due to ingrained patriarchal attitudes and biases, relatives of patients are more likely to challenge women medical professionals. In addition to this, female medical professionals also face different forms of sexual violence at the workplace by colleagues, seniors, and persons in authority. Sexual violence has had its origins even within the institution, the case of Aruna Shanbag being a case in point. There is a hierarchy within medical colleges, and the career advancement and academic degrees of young professionals are capable of being affected by those in the upper echelons. The lack of institutional safety norms at medical establishments against both violence and sexual violence against medical professionals is a matter of serious concern. While gendered violence is the source of more malevolent manifestations of the structural deficiencies in public health institutions, the lack of safety is of concern to all medical professionals. Preserving safe conditions of work is central to realizing equality of opportunity to every working professional. This is not just a matter of protecting doctors. Their safety and well-being as health providers is a matter of national interest. As more and more women join the workforce in cutting-edge areas of knowledge and science, the nation has a vital stake in ensuring safe and dignified conditions of work. The constitutional value of equality demands nothing else and will not brook compromises on the health, well-being, and safety of those who provide health care to others. The nation cannot await another rape or murder for real changes on the ground.